Innovation Agency making a presentation. We request you to please take your seat here in front. And thereafter, Space Angel Australia and SABRN Australia. The presentations will be made, ladies and gentlemen, from this podium. We also have a clicker for your convenience. The clicker, the slide changer, as you can see, has a green button, which is to go ahead on your slides, and the red button is to go back, should you skip a slide. And the other thing that I have to announce is each presenter is going to get 3 minutes. We request you to please stay within time limit, and a buzzer will be sounded at the end of 2 minutes 30 seconds. So that will alert you when you have 30 seconds remaining. Additionally, there's going to be a timer running on the topmost right corner of your screen for you to assess time.
Excuse me, just to be sure, I'm from Dassault Aviation. Do you have the slides here?
The slides are going to be with the console, but
So they have it.
I'm sure they'll have it. If you've submitted them, they'll have it.
Okay.
You've already given them, right? Because yours is the fourth one.
Okay.
I mean, this sixth actually, because first we have industry bodies.
Okay.
Hello.
Can I say I have a confirmation that my presentation is already loaded?
Yes, sir. So the lady in white, there, she's the one who will guide you.
The lady in the white.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now starting with the Space Business Connect session. In this session, we have actually invited overseas and Indian companies to make a pitch about their companies. We have a total of 49 companies as well as 2 industry associations whose representatives are going to be making a pitch presentation. As I said earlier, we request each speaker to be brief and complete their talk in under 3 minutes. Before we begin with the pitch presentation session, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Pavan Goenka, Chairman InSpace, who's going to be chairing this session. We extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Somnath S., Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, seated on the head dais. And we also extend a very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Vinod Kumar, Director Promotion InSpace, and Mr. Shantanu Bhattavdekar, who's the Scientific Secretary of Indian Space Research Organization. Let's extend a hand and welcome the dignitaries in our midst. And I extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished delegates. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would first, of course, request Dr. Pavan Goenka, Chairman InSpace, to do the opening remarks. Can we have the microphone on, switched on the dais, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Secretaries, DOS, and my other colleagues here. Welcome to the grand finale of a hectic 2 days of schedule. And as was mentioned by Swarya, that we have about 50 people who will be presenting their pitch on their company. And this will be a Guinness Book of World Record probably for 50 people to finish their talk in 2.5 hours. And that too engineers and scientists and business people. So no politicians though. So, so let's see how we manage that. But let me just say it's in a way continuation of what we talked about in the morning, where we talked about what each country is doing, and now we are talking about what some of the companies are doing. We have a very good lineup of companies that will be making the presentations. And I think you will find, as I looked at some of the presentations, that fair amount of work is happening all over the world. Something that none of us perhaps have a full view of. And when we go through this impressive presentation, we will really realize that private sector has come of age when it comes to the space sector. I'm going to request my colleague, Dr. Vinod Kumar, who is Promotion Director in Space, to make an opening statement, and then we will start the presentations.
Thank you, sir. Respected Sri Somnathji, Secretary Department of Space, and Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. On behalf of G20 SALM Organizing Committee, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to this amazing Space Business Connect session. During this session, this presentation are planned by global space industry. It is indeed a very significant day as we gather here to witness the cutting-edge innovation and capabilities of space industries from around the world. Friends, we are witnessing a new space era in human history where the space industries are working to revolutionize our understanding of the universe. I am honored to be here before you all as we embark on this journey that we shape the future of space explorations. It is truly inspiring to witness the incredible growth and potential of the global and Indian space industry. The blossoming Indian space industry has garnered worldwide attention and admiration in recent times. You should have read a recent article in New York Times, Explosive Growth of Indian Space Tech Startups. I am pleased to see that out of total 50 plus presentation, over 60% are from Indian industry. Your dedication, ingenuity, and relentless pursuit of excellence have positioned Indian space sector to be reckoned with within the global space community. Friends, the space industry with its ever-expanding opportunities has the power to transform not only the understanding of our universe, but also everyday lives of here on the earth. Under various verticals of space, I would like to express my gratitude to the G20 SALM Organizing Committee for this initiative. Your commitment to nurturing the space ecosystem is commendable, and we are privileged to have your unwavering support. The potential partnership that can develop here can propel your ventures to new heights. Without further ado, let us embark on this remarkable journey of limitless possibilities. Friends, new space era has begun. Thank you, and let the presentation begin. Please stick to the allotted time as we have to have presentation from 50 plus presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will first start with the presentations from the industry bodies. So I'm going to request Mr. Anil Kumar Bhatt, Director General of ISPA, Indian Space Association, to please make his presentation. Sir.
Good afternoon and Jai Hind. Chairman ISRO, Chairman in Space, dignitaries on the stage, and industry delegates in the Space Economy Leaders Meeting. It's my honor to represent the Indian space industry here, and I will quickly go through some of that has been spoken in the last 2 days would be a repetition. Please pardon me for that, but I would skip most wherever that is required. The Indian Space Association was made in October 2021 to create an enabling environment for strengthening the private industry in the Indian space sector and to propel India to the global forefront in the entire space ecosystem. And our focus areas were, of course, most importantly, unified for the policy framework, for energizing business growth, to interface with the defense and security agencies in India, for capacity and knowledge building, and for international partnerships. During our inauguration, these are the 4 frameworks the Prime Minister gave us. The first was allow the private sector freedom of innovation. Government to play the role of an enabler. We have to prepare the next generation for the future in space and treat the space sector as a resource for the progress of the common man. We today have these members I am flashing to you to just flash to you the major industry players in space which are there in India. 7 of our founding members, 9 of our core members, all of these have been suppliers of components or vendors to ISRO. And now we are looking at them to evolve as independent entities to do end-to-end work in space. We have associated members also, which are also some of them international companies, and we have a large number of startups. Putting them as per their expertise, this is how the upstream, midstream and downstream looks in India. This slide was flashed yesterday by the chairman of InSpace. What I wanted to add is from September last year, when the draft telecommunication policy was taken out, and thereafter the draft geospatial policy, and in April this year, the release of the space policy, these have been very important events in the growth of the Indian space sector. And we are awaiting the FDI policy, which we are hopeful will be coming very soon. Notwithstanding that, activities by our industry members have already started in India. This is how the startups have grown today, with a total about 148 which are there recorded, and much more who have registered themselves with InSpace. The chairman ISRO, in one of his talks 6 months back, coined a new word called the National Space Enterprise of India. And what he said was, beyond ISRO, now it is NSIL, InSpace, the entire Indian Space Association and the entire Indian space industry, that includes startups and academia. And all these which form the space enterprise would lead India's future space journey. Of course, many of our industry members will be supported and handheld by ISRO, which has a legacy of more than 60 years. Move the next slide, please. We have had a very positive indication even before the government had announced the policy in 2020, and this is the kind of investment which our startups received in India. And every year it has been increasing, and in 2023, we are very confident that it will cross the figures which are there for 2022. Some of this was again flashed by my chairman, but I would like to highlight to you some of the major activities which has happened is, of course, firstly is the signing of the contract for the PSLVs, 5 PSLVs, with HAL and L&T consortium. Then is Skyroot, which was a startup which just came up in 2018 and was able to launch in November 15, 2021. Agnikul is another company which has making a 3D printed semi-cryogenic engine which has been tested on ground, and we hope they would be launching very soon this year. We had a historical launch of 72 satellites in 2 launches for OneWeb, which happened last year and this year in April. Nusantara, again a startup, has successfully launched the world's first commercial space-based weather monitoring systems. Pixel has been able to launch 3 satellites and has also got a contract from NRO in USA. Dhruva has launched 2 nano satellites, while Nelco and Telesat are successfully have had a demo on LEO in India. Ajista, just in June, on 10th June, has launched their first satellite. These are just some of the many successes we have had in the last 1 year after the new policy was announced. And in all this, hand-holding by ISRO and support from InSpace has been a very, very major and important factor in the growth of our private sector. These are the other activities which have happened. I will not go through each one of them. We also got a very policy which I mentioned in April, which gives an opportunity to NGEs to do everything possible, be it in communication, remote sensing, navigation, and in all domains, including space mining and extraterrestrial activities. A lot of faith which has been put in non-government entities by the government, and I am very sure that our industry will live up to these expectations. We have released certain documents. This document I just wanted to highlight. We had got with ENY, we had got a study done last year on what is the overall Indian space economy compared to the world one, and the figures by their prediction by 2025, we would have an economy of about 13 billion. In various segments, the figures are given there. Of course, launch vehicles would be the least, about 1 billion. This is what the division of the sectors and the likely percentages growth which are likely to happen in satellite manufacture, launch services, ground segments, and satellite services. The largest growth, of course, would be in the launch services. We have also done a study. We had a meeting along with US and IIT Madras, where we were looking at the association of all space entrepreneurs in the Indo-Pacific. We all met there and we agreed that we would be making an association for all of us being together. On the aspect of space technology parks, many of our states in India have been moving in it. Kerala, Gujarat, Trivandrum, where at one spot they are providing all the opportunities for our space industry companies and especially the startups. We in ISPA carry out 2 conclaves. One is the Indian Space Conclave, which we started last year, and we had the Minister and Chairman ISRO there to support us, and a Defence Space Symposium where we looked into what all the defence forces would require, all the 3 services, and we have been able to get 75 defence challenges for the industry from the Ministry of Defence. We would be having the next conclave from 4th to 6th October this year, and we would welcome all of you for that. I finish here. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, we would once again reiterate the time limit. We have to stick to 3 minutes. Now I'd request Mr. Sanjay Kumar, President, Geospatial World, to kindly make his address.
Thank you very much and very good afternoon. Thank you to Dr. Somnath and Dr. Pawan for giving us this opportunity to talk about. I will be talking on behalf of the global geospatial community, a community which is more on to the downstream applications of space infrastructure, and my title would be more about space infrastructure and geospatial value for the world economy and society. Looking at what's happening around us is a lot of change which is on the rise is climate change, disasters, wasteland, or inflation. And the consequence of that is depleting agrofields, water scarcity, depleting natural resources, flora and fauna, and very important, depleting wealth of the nations. Especially in the last 3-4 years, a lot of wealth has gone away from us. So how do we deal with this situation? It's all about resilience, and resilience of all kinds, be it economic, be it social, be it environmental, be it infrastructure, cultural, or human. Diversity, equity, these are the kind of resilience the transition is going on currently around us. So, what is the role of space and geospatial infrastructure in that? Geospatial infrastructure and space help you measure, model, monitor, and manage what? And the output is in the form of productivity. It does help you increase productivity, efficiency, transparency, and compliance. And these are very important topics. And actually, when you talk about sustainability of everything, the compliance and transparency are equally important tool of sustainability of everything. And that's where the use of technology for productivity and efficiency is what leads to the economic growth, what leads to the sustainability of everything. Looking at geospace, the foundation of the digital economy. Geospace is actually the foundation. Today, we live in a digital age, and everything is dependent on geospatial technology and space infrastructure. What we help to do is describe the problem, diagnose the problem, predict the solutions, and then prescribe how to address that. This is the kind of workflow cycle we have to find hindsight, insight, and foresight. And that is how the economy is growing. That is how the businesses are using this technology across huge enterprises. You just say so many businesses are just dependent on the power of location, power of GNSS. PNT is inside every digital device of this world. And if the PNT is messed up, all of us are messed up. I'm telling about the economic impact. And what is that impact happening around us is that impact is transitioning our industry as a whole. The industry which was seen as a technology, the industry which was seen as a laboratory or a government function is an industry. So now you don't hesitate in saying that space is an industry or a geospatial is an industry in itself. And that is the kind of transaction taking place. And why this market map talks about is the fact that we have GIS and analytics, Earth observation, GNSS and positioning, frontier technologies, infrastructure modeling, solutions and system integrators, and the new kid on the block is the consulting firms. I can share these slides. I know it is not visible, but that is how the global geospatial and space market is organized. And look at the kind of companies, how they are playing into different parts of the role, and that's what we make a solution. And this slide, it talks about the $202 billion of investment in the last 3 years around geospatial and space. I heard about $100 billion investment, which has been said by various speakers in this summit. But where does other $102 billion comes in? That other $102 billion comes in actually from the location and geospatial investments. Host of investments is going on across the location companies, across the 3D modeling companies, across the indoor GIS companies, across the every aspect of living where we are making use of this technology. This industry is actually growing nowhere less than 17 to 20% CAGR every year. Just depends how do you want to define, how do you want to scope it up. That is what is the scope and definition is what makes you believe or not believe, or rather further believe. So global geospatial industry market currently is about $512 billion, out of which This includes GNSS and Earth observation as well. And let me tell you that 65 to 70% of this market is driven out of GNSS and Earth observation. And GNSS is almost 55% of that model. We give a lot of emphasis on Earth observation, but if you look at the actual uses of the space technology for the citizens or the consumers or the businesses or the security, GNSS is the driving force. GNSS is the driving force, I want to tell you. And this is growing at the stage of about 14%. I have a caveat to share. When somebody says that, geospatial space economy is about $1 trillion going to be in 2030, I actually disagree. Space economy right now is already $1.7 trillion. But depends on how do you want to define that. Do you take all the applications, which is Uber or Airbnb or Zomato or all those applications and their business values, do you take them into account as part of your economy? Yes. 35 billion deliveries have taken place in India in last 1 year. 35 billion deliveries means what? Every delivery is based on the location. Every delivery is based on the indoor map. Every delivery is based on the 3D modeling. That's what it is. And this is a published figure. We have just a detailed exercise on this, and you have no hesitation in saying that this data is very, very correct. And the economic impact. Today itself, $7.5 trillion of economic impact. We as a profession, as a holistic profession, we make a $7.5 trillion economic impact. I'll just take 1 more minute or 30 seconds to say that why it is important that we actually talk about safety, sovereignty, and trade of space infrastructure. We heard about sustainability of space. We heard about the threats around that. If safety, sovereignty, and trade of space is not taken into account now, all this will be reversed. One bad actor, I already have seen, couple of bad actors can take it so backward that we all would be starting living into an age which we were about 20 years back. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to request PT Pacific Satellite Nusantara, Indonesia, and to all the speakers, the presenters, I'd like to inform you once again now that we have a buzzer which is going to sound at the end of 2 minutes 30 seconds, and so that will alert you that you have 30 seconds remaining. You will also have on the top right of all screens the countdown timer running so that you're aware of time. Let me now invite PT Pacific Satellite Nusantara, Indonesia. Sir, you can also do it from here.
Before it starts, just for the knowledge of people from outside India, one of the areas where India has made significant opening up in this year is in the data availability. Geospatial policy was launched earlier the year, and space policy, and both have now made the space data very easily accessible to anyone and everyone. And there's no approval required of any kind for data below 30 centimeter resolution or data less than 30 centimeter resolution.
Thank you very much for ladies and gentlemen for the time and for the head of delegation. We are from Pacific Satellite Nusantara. We are a private company in Indonesia. Actually is number 2 for satellite. Usually the number 1 is PT Telkom, is state-owned. But we are growing step by step. Okay, next one. Oh, sorry. So we already 32 years. 1991, PSN is being as a startup at that time. Then we are operating for the beginning as a inclined orbit satellite because we don't have money. So we are, but we try to giving solution in the rural area with the motorized antenna and everything's underdeveloped by ourselves to make it inclined as a business. And then the second, in 2000, we are together with Lockheed Martin is become MSS, Mobile Satellite Services, at that time as for L-band. And then 2009, we are one of the biggest become cellular backhaul for the GSM using satellite, at that time still using C-band. And 2016, we are complete MBO, means management by objective, means we are we are finished our financings, we changed our management. So then from that time, we have resources that to change all the platform of PSN. After that, 2019, we start Nusantara 1. This is the first HTS for Indonesia, even already have a IP star at that time. And then after that, 2020, we launched Nusantara 2 from this collaboration with China. 2019 is collaboration with SSL from US, thank you. And also in several weeks ago, we just launched the Satria 1, or we call Nusantara 3. It's a Satellite Republic Indonesia. This is the first collaboration with the government, 150 gigs. And then the next, we hope the second largest, 160 gigabits per second with Boeing. Okay, next. Oh, sorry. Back. This is our constellation. Nusantara 1, Nusantara 2, Nusantara 3, and Nusantara 5, and we hope, but Nusantara 2 is failed because of rocket, and then we hope by this year our capacity will be 300 gigabit per second, and we are still designing another satellite. Our target by 2 years more is like 600 gigabit per second. This is our payload and capacity. Okay, enough, I think. Okay, finish. Basically, we are changed it to KA band from C band from KU, then we changed because the capacity not enough anymore. And then, because I'm a head secretary general for Satellite Association in Indonesia, Indonesia is growing like 65% only for the satellite. So satellite industry in Indonesia is a very high increase. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for staying close to your time limit. Ladies and gentlemen, since we have over 50 presentations, I request you to please stick to time limits. We have to complete all the presentations. And I'm now going to request from Space Angel Australia, Mr. Ram Kuppuswamy, to join us on the podium. Also, I request all the industry body members, people at the back, to take front seats. The front seats are empty. We will take the country placards away very shortly, but we can always invite you to come and take these front seats. Sir, this is your clicker. The green button is for ahead and the red for the...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Chairman of ISRO, Chairman in Space. I'd like to keep the presentation light. I know it's after lunch. Our project from Space Angel is the Australian Space Super Corridor. We are proud to build the world's first green space spots. Our focus is to provide rapid rocket launches at a low cost from the green space spot. The vision is to will be built together as a public-private partnership with the Western Australian government as well as the federal government in regards to providing access to space. Our project is currently listed on the WA Western Australian Investment government website at the moment, and you can get more information from that. The way we see our supply chain as well as collaboration, a close collaboration with India is very much how this looks like. In terms of shipping routes into Australia, Fremantle Port, which is pretty much Perth, is the entry point, and then it goes through right all the way through Brisbane and then gets back out. The last exit point is through Western Australia itself. So in terms of supply chain is really, really strong. And that's essentially where the southern polar launch location is. And soon we'll be getting an equatorial launch site as well. In terms of the value proposition in regards to the area, if you look at the area, we have about 450 square kilometers of launch site capacity and capability. The airspace is very clear. There's no marine parks at the moment. And in terms of launch aspects, cadence, and trajectories is between 51 and 120 degrees for polar. This is specifically for polar. And we can even launch in terms of across the continent, because in terms of population, there's really a very low population at the moment. And so why Australian Space Super Corridor? Key aspects is like a real estate agent, location, 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 low impact on commercial aviation, low impact on launching and landing anomalies, retrieval opportunities is some of the areas that we're looking at. Environmental and social impacts are very, very important. ESG, we've got certification as a process that we will be going through in terms of ESG certifications for the green space spots. Strong federal and state support. The state government is very, very much driving behind this, and essentially to provide a low cost and high impact, economic impact to the world, to the region, and there's a lot of federal and state funding available, including private funding going on at the moment. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. And before I invite the next speaker, I'm going to invite the next 5 to come and sit closer to the podium. Dassault Aviation France. So from Dassault Aviation, I request the delegate to, esteemed delegate to please join us here. The Exploration Company, we already have our delegate here. Hemeria France, Share My Space France, and Leonardo Italy. And with that, I now request Dr. Abhilash Chandra, SABRN Australia, to please make his presentation.
Thank you. And namaskar, everyone. Dr. Somnath, Chairman of ISRO, Dr. Goenka, Chairman of InSpace. I'd like to thank you for inviting me here to be part of G20. Past 24 hours have been amazing, and I really want to thank everybody for that incredible experience. My background, my name is Abhilash Chandra. I'm Indian by descent, 3 generations removed from India, but India is still in my heart. I live in Australia now, so I've got the best of both worlds. I'm a little bit different to most people here. I'm a practicing vascular general and military surgeon. This is my 23rd year of service in the Australian Army. I've been an infantry soldier, medical officer, and now I'm the senior medical officer for 9th Brigade. I'm also an academic, so industry professor at UniSA and Future Industries Institute. And I'm also the founder and managing director of the SABRN group of companies. This background gives me a great opportunity to try and help deliver better healthcare to those who are in the world who need it the most. As we all know, 50% or more of the global population do not have access to adequate healthcare. The top left picture on this slide shows how the distribution of healthcare is globally. The darker areas are areas that do not have enough access to healthcare. So at this point, I'd made it my purpose to try and bring better healthcare faster to all the people who really need it. I've been developing the SABRN eLife Pod. Basically, it's a transportable life sustainment pod that can provide an integrated emergency ICU and operating theatre capability. It can be transported by land, air, space, including the littoral zone, by a variety of different vehicles, which includes trucks, trains, planes, helicopters, amphibious vehicles, and boats. And when we look at starting to colonize extraterrestrial environments like lunar surface and Mars surface, I want to try and have the eLife Pod also providing the best healthcare for our people on extraterrestrial environments. So the eLife Pod is designed to have better diagnostic, better monitoring, and better treatment capabilities. It'll start off with ultrasound and X-ray. Future generations will have CT scanners. It'll have capability of managing airways, transfusing blood, and performing surgery. It'll have advanced telehealth capability, and it'll be built according to United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. I want to work with India to try and build this eLife Pod. My goal is to try and get the eLife Pod to not only be useful for the Gaganyaan projects in the future, but also try and provide better healthcare for India and the world's poorest as soon as possible, being in line with the one Earth, one family, one future. These are my contact details. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or queries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. May I invite Dassault Aviation France, Mr. Philippe Da Silva.
So good afternoon. Okay, and thank you for this opportunity to be with you today. I represent Dassault Aviation, a French company, leader and pioneer in the aerospace industry, both in military and in commercial sectors. And we have in this domain a very long history of cooperation with India. In the space sector, we are primarily focused on the design of reusable space planes and lifting bodies, which are at the crossroad of aeronautics and space, and which can benefit the most from mature aeronautical technologies. And we have been involved in many spacecraft projects since the 60s, ESA programs, NASA program also. And in all these programs, we have always been committed to apply our proven technical aeronautic skills, making Dassault Aviation a unique player in the space sector. So we believe in synergies between space and aviation, and we believe these synergies will become increasingly strong, particularly to meet the growing needs of the commercial sectors. Many of today's space sector challenges are indeed those that aeronautics sector was able to address yesterday. That is what we did over this last century. I'm talking about reactivity, reusability, flexibility, reliability, and of course safety. And we believe that such vehicles, such space planes, is a smart and relevant solution to address these challenges. So space planes are indeed a missing asset of the global space chain value. I was just talking about technical challenge, but space planes also bring key operational capabilities, such as return from orbit, which is still poorly addressed today, and for which we need to come up with more innovative concepts. Because the need to down mass is going to grow, whether it's people with development of manned flights, but also microgravity experiments, lunar samples, and we're working on such concepts in Dassault Aviation, because tomorrow it will no longer be a question of returning passenger and resources or equipment in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but of operating on hourly schedules, returning as do airplanes at conventional airport, and using existing infrastructures. So these are some examples of all the capabilities that can address such orbital space plane. I won't go, we don't have time, but it's transport, cargo transportations, manned flights, and in-service orbit, and a lot of applications. Regarding our skills are a continuation of aviation technologies. We are above all a global architect and system integrator, mastering all the key technological skills for design, development, testing, production, certification, support of complex air system. And we have extended these key aeronautical skills to the space domain as an extension of the flight domain, faster and higher. As conclusion, I will say that over the past 10 years, the global space sector has undergone an unprecedented transformation and expansion, and as a player in aerospace innovation for over a century, Dassault sees this transformation as a great opportunity. An opportunity to meet new challenges, to make space more accessible, more responsive, more safe, more reliable, and also less expensive. And we are convinced that we have much to contribute to this transformation, and we seize a real opportunity to develop fruitful cooperations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We have next the Exploration Company France, Ms. Helen Huby.
Okay. So, hello everyone, and I'm going to bring you in space. Our mission is to democratize space exploration, so to make it affordable, that is to say accessible from a price point of view, to make it sustainable. We are the first in the world to fly a space capsule with green propellant, and to make it open. We are the first in the world to open source our interface, and we want to be able to serve in a cooperative manner International Space Station, American Space Station, and also Chinese Space Station one day. So you see here basically our vehicle, our vision. Our vision is to make basically orbital vehicle like Volkswagen makes car. Our vehicle are made out of 2 bricks, 1 capsule, which fly to space station around the Earth, fly to space station around the Moon, and then comes back and then can be reused, flying with green propellant, a technology that we develop in-house. And the second brick is the trunk, the service module, empty or filled with cargo when we go to space station around the Earth, and when we go to the Moon, we need additional energy, so we develop in-house a cryogenic oxygen methane engine that enable us to go to the gateway and or to land at lunar surface, and that engine can be refueled in orbit. So hence we can use, for example, the Starship capability as a tank to be able to perform several missions. So these are like cool design, but probably you want to know where we are today. So we started working in September 21. Today we're actually 82 employees because we grew since that slide, so since last week. We've raised around about 55 million euro, which is a record in Europe. We closed the biggest Series A ever raised in Europe by a space company. That when there were war in Ukraine and double-digit inflation. And we are flying this year in October together with India. So thank you then to Radhakrishnan for the excellent cooperation that we've been able to set up with him. So we fly our first baby capsule second week of October, and it will be launched by PSLV. And in 24, we fly our subscale vehicle that will be launched by SpaceX. I want to show you some cool hardware picture, so that you can see that this is real actually. You see on the left-hand side our baby capsule that will be launched here from India, second week of October. You see in the middle the mid-size capsule, which is currently in the manufacturing process. On the bottom of the slide, you see our new integration room in Germany, and you see on the right-hand side the 2 in-house engines that we're developing in-house, green propulsion on the one hand, and oxygen methane for landing at lunar surface. And as a conclusion, I would like to thank again India for this amazing organization and for giving me the opportunity to present to you the exploration company, as well as for the great cooperation so that we can launch together this year our first baby capsule, and for the cooperations to come, among them a strong cooperation for the parachute and more to come. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, madam. And with that, I'd like to invite Hemeria France, Mr. Philippe Gauthier.
Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you very much to give us the opportunity with my colleagues to present our industry. I hope I will survive to the buzzer torture. Okay, Hemeria in brief. We are a medium-sized company, 70 million of revenue dollars, 400 employees, 3 plants. And to summarize, we have 3 lines of products for space, but not only space, for sky also. Satellites, we design and make small satellite, balloons, and also we have a product line of equipments to make trajectography. Please, next. Oh, yes, I have the, I did not understand, excuse me. Up. Okay, fine. We propose small sats. Small sat means satellites which are under 100 kilograms and which address, I would say, 3 market segments. One is connectivity, mainly IoT. We are providing the satellites for a constellation called Kineis, in particular. One product line is for Earth observation. And the third one, up to now, is only dedicated to defense application, is for space surveillance, and we are manufacturing right now 2 satellites for the French MOD to be in a geo-orbital orbit, and the purpose of those satellites is going to protect the key assets that the forces have in a geo-orbit. We have also under development a vehicle to take care about transportation of satellites up to geo orbit. About the balloons, are systems now which are becoming again, I would say, fashionable. But just focus on the one category of balloons, which are stratospheric balloons. We are developing a maneuvering balloon, which is going to be able to stay at something like 20 kilometers of altitude during 6 months, and to stay stable in regards of the ground, so that there will be a lot of applications, Earth observation, telco, and so on, and it will be available in next year, in fact. And I wanted also to be brief to talk about our last baby. We are also investor. We are trying to move also downstreams for space application, and it has been well said in the presentation before that the business is much growing in that arena. And we have created one year ago a startup which is going to focus on the subject of water, inland water, management of the water, prediction of disasters, with 2 segments. We are going to put in orbit a constellation of satellites to make certain measurements daily on 30,000 points on the Earth. And we have also, of course, a digital segment, which is providing data and services to manage quality and quantity of water, and of course it's a key subject all around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And the esteemed delegate from Share My Space, France, Mr. Romain.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Dear Chairman, I'm very honored to be here with you and to present to you my company, Share My Space. So we are a French-based company with a global ambition, and we work in the field of space surveillance and space operations safety and security. So we were incorporated in 2017 for one fundamental reason: Earth orbit congestion. So now there are more and more satellites in Earth orbits, more and more space debris that are causing increasing risks for the sustainability of human activities in space. So our fundamental mission is to tackle that. So how do we do it? So we've built a system that we called our Orbital Information System, which is a set of algorithms and database architecture, all secured. So we ingest, process, package, and distribute high added value data for our customers, who are institutions, military bodies, and commercial players in the space sector. So we ingest data from various sources, so public sources from partners, including our customers. And as a key part of our orbital information system, we control a network of optical stations scattered around the world. We currently have 4 operational optical stations, and we've actually designed, developed, and deployed the key innovation that we call the multi-telescope observation station. So it's an optical system made out of 4 optical telescopes that scan the sky and detect all the objects that cross an observation ring. So it works a little bit like a radar system would do, but using optical technology, which enables us to drive the costs down and to bridge the gap with the commercial market. So we've designed the system to be extremely sensitive in LEO, across all orbits, and in particular in LEO, also very accurate, so it enables us to address a wider market. So currently we detect even the smallest objects in the US catalog, both in LEO and in GEO. So going forward, we've successfully addressed the key segments of our market, so institutions, military, and commercial players. We have 15 customers in 7 different countries around the globe, and we've really managed to package key products for each of these segments. So we are looking forward first I'd like to thank again the ISRO and CNES for having us here, and we're definitely looking forward to further collaborations with Indian partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, before I invite the next speaker from Leonardo, Italy, we have Thales Aliena Space lined up. After that, I invite iSpace Incorporated, Japan, Sagri Japan, and Unmanned Exploration Laboratory, Republic of Korea. So let me now invite from Leonardo, Italy, Mr. Sandro Panagini.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the possibility to present Leonardo activities and in special a focus on the space Leonardo activities. As you know, Leonardo is a global company that develops multi-domain operational capabilities in the aerospace, defense, and security sector with an integrated offer of high technology solution from military and civil application. 4 business sectors are managed by Leonardo. One is the helicopters through direct resources like the helicopter division and several cooperation and joint ventures. Another is aeronautics, then defense, electronics and security, and space. Space is, Leonardo is acting as with direct resources, providing activities, but through also the Telespazio, the joint venture with Telespazio, which is for the 70% owned by Leonardo, and Thales Alenia Space, which is owned of the 33% of the share, and also Avio for the launcher. So you can see that there is a cover all the completely chain value of the industry space. It's worth to mention that the 30% of share of Leonardo is owned by Italian Ministry of Economy and Finance, while all the other is on retail market through institutional investor and on the market. 90% of the institutional float is international. Space. Leonardo covers the entire value chain of the space industry, from the manufacture of satellites and orbiting infrastructure to the production of high-tech equipment and sensor, in addition to developing a new space application and in management of satellite services up to propulsion and launching system. Through the joint ventures, Telespazio, satellite services for the design, development, launch, and in-orbit controlling space systems and servicing and application for Earth observation. Through Thales Alenia Space, satellite system for telecommunication, navigation, Earth observation, probes and rovers for space exploration, and multifunction orbiting modules. Directly, with ordinary resources, Leonardo provides instruments and equipment. Instruments, electro-optical instrument and hyperspectral payloads, laser transmitter and robotic system for space exploration and the study of our planet. And as equipment, photovoltaic panels, atomic clocks, attitude sensor, power distribution system, and orbital micropropulsion. Just to give you an idea where the equipment and the instruments of Leonardo are in the solar system, we are far of the solar system up to close our system. Just to pick up 2 information or 2 of these missions. One old, that is New Horizon, for example, launched in 2006, in which the Star Tracker manufacturer developed by Leonardo owned the proper engagement to the planet and the proper flyby to Plato's planet. While one of the most recent is JUICE mission, in which Leonardo provide the PVA for the power of the craft. We are speaking about 85 square meters of PVA, is the biggest for exploration ever built till now. And 2 important instruments, one high resolution camera and a spectrometer in the visible and infrared spectrum. So those are the capabilities of Leonardo, that is provide a wide range of high reliable solution for Earth observation, science, planetary exploration, navigation and telecommunication program, based on a long-standing collaboration with Italian Space Agency and European Space Agency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And may I invite from Thales Alenia Space Italy, Mr. Vincenzo Giorgio.
Good afternoon, and again, thank you for giving me the possibility to show up what Thales Alenia Space does in space. I could simply start with the statement that says that we do everything but launcher, meaning space infrastructure, telecommunication, Earth observation, science, exploration, and navigation. And in this picture, you can actually see all the orbits and all the products that, by the way, are very well flight proven since the last 40 years. So you see at the list of the chart, the Mars, where we have an orbiting system there waiting for the rover to go. Our motto is space to, meaning that space to observe, space to defend, space to explore, and so on. So that's the way we divide our disciplines. Let's start with space to observe and navigate. I'm referring specifically to a very specific competence of Italy in the radar system. It all started with the Cosmos SkyMed, Constellation 6 satellite going on, and 2 ready to fly, which allowed us to go into the position of a main actor of the ESA EU Sentinel for the Earth observation, whatever field. I mean, a radar, hyperspectral, as well as optical observation. We have now developed, and we are under a contract to fly Constellation for the high-resolution radar systems. The reason behind that is the increase time revisit that is very much required by the customers. Satellite ranging in the weight average of 200 kilograms and in a constellation mode. Going to navigation, we are building the second generation of the Galileo system in Europe. Then Earth to explore, space to explore. Our heritage starts from Space Lab, therefore we are talking of the 70s, more or less, or the 80s, and we've been working on the International Space Station, where we have a major role. I mentioned the fact that Thales Alenia Space has built more than the 50% of the habitable volume. And we are today the major actor in the building of the Lunar Gateway in terms of habitable volume. We have the International Lab. We have the Esprit module for the resources. We are building the US-led HALO under contract with a US prime. And we are developing under the Italian Space Agency a lunar habitat on the surface. We are also participating to the commercial LEO development with a number of actors. Today, we have contract in place with Axiom, and you see the 2 modules, flight models being already manufactured in TAS. And we have the Martian mission ExoMars. We already have a satellite flying around Mars. We will land the rover in 2028. Actually, it would have been launched in 2022, but due to the crisis in Ukraine, the launch was delayed for the existing cooperation between Europe and Russia, which was actually destroyed. This being said, we are very much active in trying to look for area of cooperation with India as well as with other countries, including the possibility to localize some of the production that we have. As you see, what we need here is be competitive, and we're trying to do everything allow us to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I invite from iSpace Incorporated Japan, Mr. Masayuki Urata. The green button for the
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Masayuki Urata, Sales Officer of iSpace Japan. Today, I would like to give a presentation about our company and our recent mission, and also about our future missions. But before that, so I would like to mention that the keyword is, let's go to the moon together. So this is overview of our company, iSpace. So we were established in 2010 with a long-term vision, Moon Valley 2040. Currently, we have employees with 200 people from over 25 countries located in Japan, USA, and Europe, Luxembourg. So we are developing lunar lander and lunar rover, and as asset, we have Mission Control Center in Tokyo. And we are providing payload service. It's a transportation of cargo from the Earth to the Moon. The second one is data service. We are providing flight data to the Moon and also lunar data. As for the financial achievements, we would like to emphasize that we successfully raised over 200 million US dollars before IPO. And in this April, we succeeded in IPO in Tokyo Stock Exchange growth market. So it is the first IPO as a startup in space startup in Japan. And this is the overall overview of our mission 1. So we launched our first lander to the Moon last year in December, and we attempted lunar landing in April 2003. Yeah. So unfortunately, the result was ended as hard landing, but it is very important that we identified the root cause of the hard landing as a failure, and we can reflect such lessons learned, utilize lessons learned for the future missions. Yeah. Then as you can see, so we successfully took some pictures in the lunar orbit, and also there's some analysis as a hard landing. Then you can check our detailed analysis in the YouTube, but it is a kind of software error related to altitude measurement. Yeah. Then this is our future missions. We have 2 future missions now specifically planned. Yeah. So mission 2, we are going to use the same lander, and as for mission 3, we are going to upgrade for commercialization, which has 500 kilograms payload capacity. We are going to launch mission 2 in 2024 next year, and mission 3 in 2025. As for mission 3, we got a big contract from NASA under CLIPS program, and we are going to bring 100 kilograms of NASA's payload to the far side of the Moon. We are going to bring 2 commercial communication satellites together with this lander. Yeah, if you are interested in a lunar mission in the future, so please kindly contact us, and let's go to the Moon together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And before I invite the next presenter, may I invite presenters, the next set of 5 presenters to please come and take seats close to the podium. Unmanned Exploration Laboratory, Republic of Korea, Glavkosmos Russia, Inmarsat UK, Mathera Global Communications Limited, and Voyager Space USA. And now I invite from Sagri Japan, Mr. Satoshi Nagata. Sir. Green button for the going ahead.
Okay. Nice to meet you all. And at first, I'd like to thank you, ISRO team and the admin team for today. Nice to meet you. I'm Satoshi Nagata from Sagri. Our company from Japan, established in 2018. Actually, we have a company in Bengaluru here. Actually, I'm leading the Indian engineering and sales team. I'm leading from India. Yeah. Actually, our company in our world, we are utilizing the satellite images, AI, mapping technologies. We are utilizing these 3 key features of technology and supporting farmers in emerging countries. Okay, this is an example of our technology. We have 2 key features. Yeah, one is the auto mapping of farmland. We are, for example, in emerging countries, farmland is scattered. For example, in Himachal Pradesh in India, scattered and hilly, it's very difficult to track. But however, if we use Sagri technology, we can map easily. Based on this mapping, after that, actually we can check the total carbon, available nitrogen, pH, main chemical indexes we can track. Maybe based on these analysis, we can optimize the fertilizer. Actually, in this scenario on the world, fertilizer cost is 2 to 3 times, and also the limitation of the supply of nitrogen. That's why farmers are suffering of the high cost of fertilizer here. To deal with these challenges, we Sagri can provide the optimization of fertilizer based on satellite image analysis. Then, after these analysis, we can support farmers like these, based on satellite image analysis of farmland. Then we can suggest farmers to please decrease chemical fertilizer. Based on that decrease, farmers can decrease the greenhouse gases from the farmland. Based on these degrees of greenhouse gases, we can contribute also to the a carbon neutral situation in the world. Then after that, farmers can get the carbon credit revenue from in the voluntary credit market. Yeah. In this concept, we Sagri working actually from India and Kenya, Thailand, Vietnam, all over the world. We'd like to work together. So, the friends from the world today, if you would like to partnership with us, yeah, we are open today. And also, I'm based in Bangalore, so maybe whenever you are free, we can have a call each other. Thank you for listening. Dhanyabad.
Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, next we have from Unmanned Exploration Laboratory, Korea, Mr. Yongsub Kim. There you go, sir.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Yongsub Kim, Project Manager at Unmanned Exploration Laboratory. UEL is a South Korean robotics startup specializing in making rovers for space. UEL provides many different robotic platforms for use in exploration. Our catalog includes conventional aerial drones, rovers on ground vehicles, as well as simulation chambers to test lunar equipment. As a leading startup aligned with Korea's national space policy, we have partnered with key national research institutes in aerospace, construction, and nuclear energy, and are paired with multiple government projects for space exploration. We have built and tested multiple prototypes of lunar rovers. We have small few kilogram two-wheel rovers to large four-wheel rovers with dedicated suspensions and solar panels. We are also experimenting with foldable chassis and fierce technologies that allow our rovers to be packed into small space and be available for more missions. And this is our foldable wheel rovers, and we can downsizing our wheels like this mechanism. Okay. We also have separate technologies for 3D printing technology that can use lunar regolith and manufacture synthetic lunar soil for experimenting lunar equipment. We are going through these projects with various partners, both in the public and private sector. We have institutions with whom we are developing a lot of these foldable structures. These partners are critical for us to gain access to advanced technologies such as new materials testing in their space environment. Our startup is located in both the capital Seoul as well as factory in a nearby city of Ansan. The pride of our facilities is a lunar environment test bed of 10 square meters filled with lunar regolith simulant. Also, we are collaborating with science YouTuber Minani to increase public interest in the space industry in Korea. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us in the email address here. Thank you for hearing my presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, now let me invite from Glavkosmos Russia, Mr. Dmitry.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I didn't bring any portable demo objects with me as the previous speaker did, but I will try to surprise you and flip my presentation backwards. This is a very complicated chart that just justifies our presence here. All of you know how important all of us are in the space industry for the space economy, and since we are in the Space Economy Forum, I thought it would be necessary to show this. This is a tribute to what the Director General of Roscosmos mentioned yesterday, the future, in fact not the future, but the forming Russian multi-constellation of satellites of different types. Several of them have already been launched. And this is in essence what the business of my company is. Glavkosmos is a 100% subsidiary of Roscosmos State Space Corporation. We were founded in 1985, and since then, India was one of our main partners in international space business. In fact, the core business of our company, the most probably important part of it is providing launch services. In fact, one of the last launches was from the newest Russian spaceport, Vostochny. We organized the launch of 42 piggybacks, 42 secondary payloads. We also propose commercial space flights to the ISS. The next launch opportunity will be in 2025. By the way, speaking about secondary payloads, all opportunities for this year are booked already, but we have every year at least 2 to 3 opportunities to put here payload on a federal Russian launch. Finally, I would like to commend ISRO for the great work it is doing with the private companies. We in Russia, the Russian government is also turning to the private space business, and recently Glavkosmos was authorized to tackle interaction with the Russian private companies. So, summarizing, we act as a one-stop shop for the whole Russian space industry. We're facilitating your contacts with a very complicated official, sometimes bureaucracy. That's well known how it happens. So you're most welcome to address us, and let's go to space. Thank you very much.
I'd like to now invite from Inmarsat UK, Mr. Gautam Sharma.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, both the chairmen, for giving me an opportunity to be part of this session. I'm Gautam Sharma, Managing Director of Inmarsat India. And we've been giving mission-critical services to the Indian government for last 2 decades. We've also recently started giving in-flight maritime services to our Indian customers. We have also been recently acquired by Viasat, which makes us one of the largest satellite service provider in the world. The mission of the company is to connect the world, because we believe whenever everyone is connected, the possibilities are limitless. As I said, together, Viasat plus Inmarsat becomes a $4.1 billion revenue company with EBITDA of $1.4 billion. And the enterprise value of Viasat becomes $14.8 billion. We have a constellation of 19 satellites in Ka-band, L-band, and S-band. And in addition to this, we are also planning to launch 10 more satellites, including 2 satellites in HEO orbit to give connectivity in the Arctic region. The market which we will be addressing by 2030 would be a $1 trillion market. And we have around 8,000 employees, out of which 300 employees are based out of India. And we also have global offices in almost 90 plus places, including 3 offices in India, which includes Chennai, Hyderabad, and New Delhi. And we have patents of 2,500 plus jointly. The focus of Viasat entity would be on fixed satellite services, giving high-throughput broadband connectivity to consumers, strategic government services, as well as mobility services. The key markets would be commercial aviation, business aviation, maritime, space, tactical networking, etc. We also believe the future lies towards broadband and IoT, and that's why the focus would remain on energy, aviation, fixed, government, maritime, and on the IoT side, on tracking and monitoring and analytics. As I said, we believe in connections, and our focus remains on sustainability because we strongly believe protecting environment is important for every citizen, community and charitable giving, and diversity and inclusion. These are few of the customers which we're already serving in India, which includes Vistara Airlines. They're using our safety broadband solutions in their cockpits. In addition to SpiceJet, where we have in some of their 777 MAXes, our Global Express services. We also serve Great Eastern Shipping Corporation of India by digitizing their maritime vessels, Shipping Corporation of India, and similarly, we're also giving connectivity across board to defense forces, which includes Swift Broadband, as well as Fleet Broadband and Inmarsat Sea services. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now may I invite from Mathera Global Communications Limited, Mr. Ravi. Sir.
Thank you so much. Okay. Start working? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ravi Alawadi. I represent Mathera Global in South Asia. Mathera Global is a UK-based company making constellation of MEO broadband satellites. Our motto is to provide services anytime, anywhere, instead of every time, anywhere. Ours is steerable beams. The satellites are at 19,500 kilometers. The filings are in the Ka, QV, and W bands. The constellation is of 128 satellites, out of which the first 12 satellites will go into the orbit in December, starting December 2024. The other part, which is very important for us, is the low-cost terminal which we are developing. It's a terminal which is developed under the leadership of Mathera with the consortium of some companies. The design is at this moment proprietary, working for Ka band, but I'm pleased to announce that very soon this terminal will evolve to switch over to the other bands, including Geo, Leo, and other bands. This terminal has two usage, one for the residential users, up to 300 Mbps using 60 centimeter antenna, and 1.2 meter antenna giving up to 1 Gbps speed. These are our main markets, starting with the residential enterprise broadband services, GSM backhaul, government for digital rollouts, services including the earth monitoring, military and defense, other data and communication services, disaster recovery, and rescue services. Just to conclude, we are a bridge between MEO, bridge between Geo and Leo, and we are totally aligned to what has been mentioned every time, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is one earth, one space, one family. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very crisp presentation. And I'd like to now call on, before I call on Voyager Space USA, may I also invite the esteemed delegates from Aliena Singapore, Indra Spain, Satlantis Spain, PLD Space Spain, and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to be closer to the podium. And I invite Mr. Marshall Smith from Voyager Space.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So we'll go ahead and get started. So at Voyager Space, I talked a little earlier, we're building the infrastructure. We're trying to have inventive space infrastructure and diversified technical solutions. A lot of mumbo jumbo there, but what I'll say is, this is what we're mostly known for is Starlab. Starlab is, Voyager is building the first commercial space station. We will launch this all in one single launch. It is a fairly large system. It's about 40% of the ISS pressurized volume. It has a power propulsion system, 60 kilowatt power propulsion system. The actual research system that's in the vehicle will have 100% of the payload capacity of the ISS, actually, and then some. We'll have a robotic arm and a science airlock showing, actually, that's our Bishop airlock that is on the ISS now. And then we'll have an equipment bay behind it where we'll keep most of the equipment. So, this is a very large system, much larger than anything that has been launched in the previous systems as we move forward. We eventually will add on one or two modules to it, but in the long run, we plan to launch multiple of these stations because we really want to look at the focus of what we're doing. We want stations to be focused on research. We want them to be focused on manufacturing, maybe tourism, other things like that. They all have different needs, different types of customers who really don't play well together. You don't want to be doing advanced microgravity research next to somebody who wants to play their music really loud as they move forward, or doing manufacturing that's dirty. The other things that we do that maybe aren't as well known is we're into orbital servicing and space sustainability, spacecraft communication systems, propulsion systems, both solid and electric systems, Earth and space visualization, ISR, and other advanced solutions. So just really quickly, one of the things we're looking at is how do we recycle upper stages to be used as outposts for Earth observation or other types of research that folks might want to do as we move forward. Airlocks, of course, we do the Bishop airlock now. It's the first commercial real estate that became a perfect permanent addition to the ISS in 2020. We use the Bishop airlock to move it. It's actually very large. It's a little bit, I can stand up inside it, and we put payloads in it and expose them to the vacuum of space as we move forward. We do launch and mission management systems. Nanorex, one of our companies, has been doing research on the ISS for over a decade. I've launched over 1,500 payloads. We're the largest launcher of payload systems to space with that. Moving on. We're doing orbit servicing and sustainability, refueling systems, those types of things, capture management systems, dog tags, where you can use electropermanent magnets and connect to facilities, connect in space so you can capture them and then either refuel them or remove debris. Communication systems, laser and RF communications. We have been doing RF communications for quite a number of years, as well as laser communications, digital systems, electro-optics, and custom communication systems. As I said, solid electric propulsion systems, and then Earth visualization systems. We have ISR capabilities that we use. And then finally, other solutions that are out there. For example, we're involved with oxygen development on using lunar regolith and other minerals, and how do we go use those, as well as launch pad infrastructures, ground systems, and things like that. So with that, I'll leave it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. And now from Aliena Singapore, Dr. Mark is going to present. So the green button is to go.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, so what do we do there? Distinguished delegates, I'm Mark Lim, co-founder and CEO of Aliena. Aliena is a Singapore-based company that aims to provide last-mile mobility solutions for satellites. Aliena is a proud spin-off of Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. We were incorporated in 2018 to seize opportunities presented from the new space renaissance. This includes the improved performance and widespread deployment of small satellites, the observation of satellites operating at lower altitudes, and the shift towards deployment of satellites in small to large constellations. Our core product today is the multi-stage ignition compact Hall thruster, or in short, MUSIC engine. MUSIC offers cost-effective performance, making it the industry standard for satellite platforms interested in compliance with deorbiting regulations, enabling operations of satellites in constellations, and improvement of satellite performance through operations at very low Earth orbit, VLEO. Just like the melting pot of cultures and innovation in Singapore, Aliena features an international team who have had extended experience working on 7 different international Hall thrusters. We also actively engage in capability development within Singapore by training and mentoring space systems engineers of tomorrow through our internship programs. We have contributed globally through the demonstration of our systems at various laboratories. This includes laboratories at ESA, Stanford, Imperial College London, and Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. We have also provided our systems and components to meet some of the frontier R&D needs of numerous research centers pursuing electric propulsion. Now, let me just spend a little bit of time speaking about our missions. We first made waves with the development and deployment of an ultra-low power Hall thruster. This was launched in January 2022 on SpaceX Transporter 3 mission. The system launch is officially the world's lowest power Hall thruster at just 10 watts and offers capability for ignition on demand. The satellite which hosted our system is also the world's smallest satellite to host a Hall effect thruster at just 3U. Our next mission is actually in a couple of weeks' time, and it's an incredible honor for us to be in India now, since the launch will be on the PSLV. In this mission, a 12U satellite will demonstrate our MUSIC engine as a multimodal engine alongside other systems built internationally. As an international collaboration managed by Aliena Singapore, this cooperation involved the UK for the provision of the satellite bus, as well as Finland for the resistor paired with our Hall thrusters. We are incredibly proud to be providing our engines to a local consortium made up of academic and industry entities that will be flying a small satellite demonstrator at very low Earth orbits, VLEO. This endeavor aims to characterize the environment at VLEO and demonstrate capabilities for data acquisition in VLEO while compensating for drag using our low-power engines. Finally, we'd like to share that we have made history with a UK consortium earlier this year by demonstrating the world's first Hall thruster to operate on water as a fuel. Aliena provided a critical enabling subsystem for the thruster tested, and it was demonstrated to operate nominally in Imperial College London and at the European Space Agency's propulsion laboratory just a few months ago. Now, in conclusion, we'd like to take this opportunity at G20 SALM to highlight that we are extremely keen on forging new partnerships internationally. We also like to explore new mechanisms or collaborative opportunities for us to provide our systems and components to sharpen the edge of your missions. I'm confident that we can go far together, and I'm looking forward to making meaningful partnerships on the sidelines of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, we now go on to Indra Spain. May I invite Ms. Maria Cristina to kindly make her presentation. And the green button is to go ahead, red to go behind. There's also a video in her slides, so we'll play that video, and whenever you say, they'll play the video.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to stay here, showing a little what Indra company can do for everybody in the world, especially regarding to the space. Indra is a company that more than 56,000 employees around the world, with a presence in more than 46 countries, and with projects in more than 140. Really, we are starting. Here is the video. Please, could you add? Yeah? No. This one. Go to the okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay, good. Thank you very much. This is our radar for surveillance of the space. Really, the situation regarding the space and the debris that we are suffering every day more and more, we need to have a clear idea about what is going on. Really, the situation every day is more congestive, and we need to know exactly what happened. The space domain awareness is one of the critical areas, and for that, Indra has developed our surveillance radar that with the capability of the coverage of more than 2,000 kilometers, okay, and with very high accuracy in the detections. With this, we can perform a complete catalog about the things that has surrounding us, okay, and we can try to predict what will be the behavior in some extent. In this situation, we have an L-band radar, monostatic, with transmitter and receiver antennas oriented to the south area in a plane forming of 30 degrees. This radar is under operation from our Spanish Air Force from the end of the 2018, that right now is under the operation of the Spanish Air Force, as I mentioned. This is a radar that is contributing to the AU-AST network and is giving all the information to avoid any collision, to predict the re-entries, and also to analyze what happened in the space. Really, we have a long company with a long history in radars application, and this is key for us. Also, we are in the space, in domain, in the navigation area, in the control, observation, and space tracking, and in Earth observation applications. In all of these, we are using the Earth observation, for instance, in the downstream, we are monitoring the change in the climate conditions. We are also checking and planning the emergencies and rescues happen, and just giving us as much information in the image and the processing that we can. With this, we can plan perfectly what is the situation of the disasters. In the navigation area, we are contributing in the GNSS infrastructure and the performance and the monitoring and detection. Also, we are planning to have, and we are working right now in Startical. Startical is a joint venture between Enaria and Indra, with a 50% of each one, that we are preparing a very big constellation with more than 250 satellites, just mainly focused in the VHF and ADS-B payload for ATM control, okay? These are the payloads destination to avoid any misinformation during the transoceanic flights, and it's going to give also the possibility to save in the oils and the transit areas to minimize the time also for the flights. Yes, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much, madam. And with that, I would now invite from Satlantis Spain, Mr. Guillermo Rosello. So the green button is to take you ahead. And the red.
Namaste. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my pleasure on behalf of Satlantis being present here. My name is Guillermo Rosello, Director of International Business for the company, and we'll have a 3 minutes journey, now less, around Satlantis and images around the Earth. We come from the astrophysics, that's our DNA. We come from watching stars, you know, astrophysics, this coffee at 3 a.m., watching from special phenomena, trying to understand what is happening up there, to watch the Earth, to look down. And that's the technology that Satlantis has developed using technology for deep space employed for Earth observation. So we have developed an optical payload, high-resolution optical payload that is able to work in different spectral bands and able to work with its dimensions with small satellites thanks to the hardware and to the software designed by Satlantis. Now we're providing full Earth observation solutions built around the core of the mission, the brain of the mission, that is the optical payload, in order to be able to transmit to the customer as a prime contractor the Earth observation strategy based on our knowledge of the optical. We are a 100 employees company right now, a combination of private and public shareholders. As private shareholders, we have several oil and gas investors, as oil and gas sector needs to understand better and better the methane emissions and space is one of the best assets to have a wide scanning, wide screening of methane emissions with detection and quantification. We're able to do this, configuring our sensor in a sweet channel and detecting methane with a 1.65 microns. This is our portfolio of payloads. We have two payloads in the market right now, one under development. The smaller one's 4 kilogram GSD, around 2 meters. The 170, which is 80 centimeters, you saw a previous image in the previous slide. And ICM-300, which with a target of below 50 centimeters. When working with full turnkey solutions, full satellites for customers, we're working with the platform you can see on the screen, and 16 CubeSat, microsats, and minisats in the future with ICM-300. These are technology roadmap. We're strong right now in the upstream and extending to MWIR and LWIR and polarimetry. These are our missions. We are in our 4th mission right now. We launched our 2nd satellite some weeks ago with Transporter 8, and we have ahead 3 missions for next year on 16 CubeSats and on 2 microsats with different instruments on board for oil and gas and defense and security. Here you can see an image of Suez Channel in Egypt. Thank you very much. Shukriya, I just want to share a thought on behalf of Satlantis. Some centuries ago, ocean and sea were granting hope for mankind. And probably today, we're all here and glued by a new hope, which is space. Thank you very much. Shukriya.
Thank you very much to you, sir. And now from PLD Space Spain, may I invite Mr. Raul.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Raul Verdu, co-founder of PLD Space. It's a pleasure to see here in the G20 event. So it's very proud to share with us our capabilities. So PLD Space is a small launcher company. We are developing a simple and robust eco-friendly rocket. So we are selecting the very mature technologies in terms of engines, structures, avionics, ground equipment, operations, and everything to do a very simple rocket to be operated and to develop an orbital class vehicle super, let me say, reliable, because we are understanding that we are not trying to improve the state of the art of the rocket. We are just trying to do in a very simple way, in a very cost-effective way. And I want to add also that it's eco-friendly. We are using green propellants called biokerosene. We are developing with the national energy company Repsol the synthetic kerosene to be, let me say, net zero company today. So PLD Space is a full vertically integrated company. So we manufacture everything in-house. We purchase very raw material and enter from one door of our workshop, and in the other door we are delivering entire rockets. So even the testing capacity, we have 100,000 square meters of ground testing capability to test structures, engines, systems, almost everything, COPVs or whatever technology that a launcher has on board. We are the unique company in Europe that we developed that system level testing. So we have, let me say, a small and a private test range. Today the company has a size of 150 full-time employees, growing up to 300 because we are increasing our capability from manufacturing 2 or 3 rockets per year to manufacture 30 rockets per year. So our last milestone was our first launch attempt. Unfortunately, our demonstrator vehicle called Mura-1 commands auto abort because a sensor in the umbilical release mechanism. So we are very proud to achieve that state of the art from the private point of view. So PLD Space was a company that was founded in 2011, 12 years of heritage. You know, I don't know if we are from the new or from the old space today, because a lot of years working today with a strong support with our national government and the National Space Agency. So I think with our project and our colleagues at Spain, we are guaranteeing at national level the capacity and the European level the capacity to launch something in the space. So stay connected, because our maiden flight will be in September, October this year. So thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, before I invite the gentlemen from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. I'd like to invite Larsen and Toubro and Lakshmi Machine Works to be closer to the podium. I invite Mr. Balaji Natarajan to now please present on behalf of HAL.
Good afternoon. HAL is a strategic partner, has been associated with ISRO for Indian space programs for almost last 5 decades. HAL has promoted ISRO for all its development projects, including Chandrayaan-1, Mars Orbiter mission, Chandrayaan-2, crew atmospheric re-entry experiment test, pad abort test of cruise escape systems, etc. HAL has been supplying critical structures, tank cages, satellite structures for PSLV, GSLV, and LVN-3 launch vehicles. We have delivered the biggest tank and also the heaviest tank for cryogenic upgradation development program of ISRO. We are making critical hardwares for the Gaganyaan project for both the unmanned and subsequently manned missions planned by ISRO. HAL is already supplying L40 integrated stages for the GSLV vehicle. We have also established dedicated facility for taking up stage integration of PS2 and GS2 stages of PSLV and GSLV respectively. Further, HAL along with L&T will be realizing the PSLV launch vehicle for NSIL in the coming years. This challenging project, once accomplished, will go a long way in establishing the role of industry in taking up bigger, complex, end-to-end realization projects for the Indian space programs. HAL has also established the cryogenic rocket manufacturing facility in Bengaluru. We have commenced the pre-production activities and are hopeful of rolling out the development modules of the engine in a couple of months' time. The facilities with aerospace division has been augmented continuously over time to manufacture structures and propellant tanks of different types and sizes, different materials and varied complexities. The manufacturing excellence of the division is visible in production of space-worthy large components and assemblies with stringent dimensional and quality requirements. HAL has been the mainstay partner from the era of experimentation to the present era of commercialization. We hope that this journey will continue and HAL will remain to serve the Indian space industry in every way possible. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. And now may I invite Larsen and Toubro. Mr. Lakshmesh is going to now present. So this is your green is ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sirs. And thanks for the honor to be here in the G20 summit. With over 80 years of strong customer focus and world-class quality, L&T has unmatched capabilities across technology, engineering, construction, high-tech manufacturing, and of course maintains leadership positions across all its businesses. In the domain of high-tech manufacturing, L&T has critical role in critical and strategic sectors like power, nuclear power, defense, and of course aerospace. L&T has been partner to ISRO over 5 decades and across practically every domain of the upstream, midstream, and downstreams. When it comes to the upstream, Larsen & Toubro has been scaling up from being a tier 1 to super tier 1 to a complete system integration in launch vehicle domain. Of course, with colleagues HAL, we are going to do the PSLV system integration. In terms of satellite, also we are scaling up from subsystems to system to complete bus structure and power management system. In terms of midstream, we have been able to establish a lot of ground systems and radar communication, navigation, and GSATs on turnkey basis. And of course, in downstream, L&T, along with its group companies, have been establishing smart cities and other smart solutions by using space tech and data. Going forward, we look at creating an end-to-end capability across the space domain, in all the streams of upstream, midstream, and downstream. We do make serious commitments to the G20's theme, One Earth, One Family, One Future. We are looking at space as a serious economic opportunity. We have made investments in high-tech manufacturing capabilities and skill sets in design and testing. We take the responsibility of upholding the values of the country as well as the global ESG standards, and of course, take the responsibility to grow the space sector in India and around. And certainly, we do believe that it's through alliances that great things can be achieved. And L&T partners with domestic, global, governmental, private startups and to build and grow the space economy in a collective manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now from Lakshmi Machine Works Limited, may I invite Mr. Channa?
Very good afternoon. Thank you very much, ISRO and G20 members, inviting us for our presentation. Lakshmi Machine Works, based out of Coimbatore. We are into composites, metallics. We have the machine shop on composites, machines, sheet metal, special process and assemblies. This is just an overview of LMW. We are a $500 million company and aerospace division is a part of it. We are already delivering the green parts from our facility. We have installed 50 solar and wind mill with 48 megabytes, so we're already supplying the green energy parts. Glimpse of composite facility, you see all the facilities are being available at our shop, right from cold storage to C-scan, the newest machine we have, hot air oven, and also the clean rooms. The largest clean room we have to accommodate the large launch vehicle parts, and largest autoclave we have, which is around 6 meter length and 4 meter dia. So accommodate major of the curing processes, including the hot air oven. You can see the NDT facility. We have all, as I mentioned, C-scan with the largest 7 meter, and all the facilities on sonar test, A-scan, and bond tester as well. We're proud to say that we have created the Center of Excellence for Payload Fairing in India. We are manufacturing various payload fairing today. If you can see, our largest is around 10 meter height. The second was 3 meter height. So we will be the largest payload fairing manufacturer for various companies. Proud to say to contribution for ISRO as well, as I mentioned, including payload fairing, we are supporting the equipment-based route and also on the antenna structures, adapters. Some of the other programs we do with composites on the engine side, we have on the acoustic door panels, helicopter parts, radars, and also on the cowling parts for helicopter. We are also into the aerostructures. You can see the large parts of structures, including some of the space program and also on the wing parts. We do manufacture and also process at our facility and also assemble it. So we have a one-stop solution at our Coimbatore facility. As I mentioned, on the capability of engine parts, we do various parts, as I displayed over here, right from large 1.5 meters dia rings to various casings and the turbine parts as well. We have the special process facility to accommodate all the parts over here. We do processing and also on the requirement of painting, NDT, passivation. We are also in the assemblies of some of the structural parts of aircrafts and also on the, it's in military aircrafts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's now about 4 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock now. We'll take a very short 10-minute energizing break. We've got tea, coffee lined up for you on either sides of this room. I request you to please get a cup of tea, coffee, but come back at 4:10 because 10 minutes is all we have. We have a lot of more presentations. We are at the 23rd one right now. We have 49 total presentations. So, I'm going to request you to please come back in a few minutes before 10 minutes. Finish. So I invite you to please do join us for tea, coffee on the either sides of this room in the wings, and please come back in 10 minutes. You could bring along your tea, coffee cups. Thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen. After this, of course, for those of you, our participants, we have Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Central Manufacturing Technology Institute, Midhani, Centum Electronics, OneWeb India, and Anant Technologies. Those are the next 6 presenters. And thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, I will be announcing the others to come join us closer to the podium. So thank you once again. Please take this energizing 10-minute break only and come back a little before, a couple seconds before 4:10. Thank you so much for your cooperation.